My name is Enolia, and this is my challenge is. Why therapy doesn't work for depression? I get this question a lot from people that sometimes go to therapy for 12 years. I had a client, and she comes to me is, I have never heard what you were saying. I said, okay, all right, great. I guess you can't take all your money back from therapy once a week for 12 years. Get over it and start learning. Therapy, the same with meds for depression and also for anxiety, are passive ways of coping and managing these conditions. You have a condition like anxiety or depression, and you read a book or a blog or go to therapy and complain, or you take a pill. These are all passive ways. And I want to accentuate on the passive way because if you're not doing something active to get out of these conditions, nobody is going to wave a wand and be able to make it disappear. Nobody's going to go grab your conditions and take it away from you. That is not possible because you have these conditions because you have to learn some lessons in life. And to learn lessons in life, there are specific steps you need to take. First, learn the lesson. Second, apply the lesson. Third, figure out where it worked and it didn't work and correct your application so it will work 100% of the time. These are active ways. It's exactly like learning math. You're learning math. At some point, you need to pass a test to see if you have learned properly or not. If not, you go back and see where you need to correct yourself. It's the same thing with life, except nobody tells us that. Don't expect the therapist is going to take your depression away. I was a psychologist at the age of 22. And I was a depressed and suicidal psychologist who decided not to do counseling and therapy because I knew it doesn't work. Somebody that is in the therapy, psychology field, it's not like they don't want to help. They do want to help. Just nobody teaches them how to help. And sitting there and listening is not the way to help. Everybody comes to me and they think that if they go to mychallenges.org and I'm going to sit there and listen to their 500 words issue and stuff like that. No. Do you want me to solve it? Good. I can give you the formula how to solve it yourself. I can't solve it for you. I cannot. And the story is different. The problems are just a few. They're just a few problems. The story is different. And you need to reevaluate the story and change it. Because my story of 27 years of depression, it was a horrible story. Until I got out, and now I can use every feeling I've ever had, every experience I've ever had to help others to move on the other side. It looks horrible. You wasted more than half of your life in depression. It's unimaginably horrible. Yet it was horrible for my mom who never got out. She died without being happy one day in her life. But for me, today, it was the greatest experience of my life because now I understand all the hurdles, all the excuses, everything that is not being taught to people, including teenagers and adults, to get out of these conditions. Because I had failed at everything that psychology was teaching, and meds, and all meditations, and all the passive ways of self-help. I have failed at all of them to figure it out, but it doesn't work. And you need the same active way that I have mentioned. And now it works. I understand that therapy these days ended up to be some kind of fashion, okay? And everybody's, oh my God, we got to go to therapy and all that. But if it would have worked, I finished university to become a psychologist in the year 2000, talking about more than 2 decades ago. If it would have worked for how many counselors, psychologists, and therapists we have today, nobody would have been depressed. It's that simple. I don't know how to say it in a different way. Let's not fool ourselves. Look at these passive ways and think that this is going to help. And then the next question is like, how about meds? How do you think meds are going to resolve the problem you have? The relationship with yourself and others. That's why so many people use alcohol and drugs. You need to learn the relationship with yourself and others, emotional balance and mental strength. How do you expect a pill to do that? What you going to do at the next struggle, at the next challenge you have in life? Take more pills? These are passive ways, and yes, they do not work. Because if it would have been worked, or how many antidepressants we had for the last 2 decades, and how many therapists, nobody would have known the word depression. Our kids would be, what is that word? What does it mean? But they don't work. And this is why I put together an entire hour and a half of why it doesn't work and how to make it work properly. It's called the Secret Map to Overcome Anxiety and Depression, and you can find it at Antidepression. If you're interested in what works. And that's it. That's all I can do. Show you what works. I cannot take away these conditions from anybody unless they want to let it go. You're listening to My Challenge is podcast with Anna Lanier. If you have a challenge in life and if you would like to get your answer for free, make sure you go to mychallengeis.org for your free answer.